Titans, go!
Hello, podcast listeners. Welcome to the second episode of Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, your podcast about the DC comic team and all its versions. I am one of your hosts, Jesse Jackson, and joining me today, as always, in the Titan Tower, my good friend Charles Skaggs.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Charles.
How are you today?
I am great. How about you?
I'm good. Getting some sinus congestion relief, which is a good thing for me. So hopefully I'll sound a little bit better as the weeks go on. But I've had some serious issues, so it's good that there's progress on my end.
Well, that is good.
Breathing is good. I recommend it.
Yes, we need you healthy for all these podcasts we have to record.
Yeah, because last time we did our introductory episode, but so now we're going to get into more of the nitty gritty with the casting information that we promised last time, and I'm looking forward to running this down with you.
Absolutely. So I saw you had many pages of notes.
Two pages of notes.
Okay.
My copious notes.
Yes. So we did not do any show prep because, hey, that's how we roll. But do you have a brief summary? And if not, I will cut this out of where we are, what we know so far, kind of about the series, and then we'll go into casting.
No, that's fine. Yeah. Basically, okay. So Titans the TV series. We know it's going to be a live action series. Season 1 is reportedly going to be 13 episodes.
That sounds good.
We don't know a premiere date yet. So your guess is as good as ours at this point in time. We know it's supposed to be sometime this year. So probably I'm guessing around fall, but so we'll see. But
so I'm going to say September 16th.
Okay.
As I just pull a date out of my
All right. Well, you've put it on record, so let's see if you're right. Let's see how close you are.
Okay.
But yeah, this is for those who don't know. Give a little background. This project was actually in development as of 2014, when it was supposed to go to the cable channel TNT, with Akiva Goldsman and Mark Hames writing the pilot. And TNT ordered the pilot in December 2014. The series was going to be called Titans, and then for some reason they were thinking about, hey, let's change the name to Blackbirds. Probably because there's like Robin and Hawk and Dove and Raven, so you got 4 birds there, but that just seems like, well, hey, let's just do Birds of Prey all over again to me.
Yeah, and
it was such a weird choice, and it got a lot of condemnation as a result online.
That is a weird thing. The other thing you has against the Titans name is Tennessee Titans. By the way, if you do a Titans podcast Google search, you get a lot of football podcasts.
Yes.
Remember the Titans, which is often played on TNT.
Right.
So I don't agree with their choice, but I could see their concerns about how are we going to make this so that people understand what this is supposed to be about.
I mean, they could have also called it DC's Titans, like they do with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot, which I don't really like the branding name before the show name, but in this case, I would see how it could differentiate.
Well, DC Legends of Tomorrow,
Right,
right?
exactly.
So yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so it's certainly, and it still could be called DC's Titans for all we know. They could end up changing the name, but considering this is going to be on DC's digital service, maybe they won't, hopefully.
Yeah, and I was going to think about that since this is going to be similar to the CBS All Access, Hulu Plus, other streaming
Right.
services, that you kind of will know what you're going
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, hopefully, let's hope anyway. So
Yeah.
apparently, this project was going to shoot in mid 2015 in Toronto, but it kind of held up for some mysterious reason. And then in January 2016, TNT announced, "Okay, we're not moving forward with the project." And there were a lot of unhappy Titans fans out there.
Right. So it never even got to a pilot
No, they
stage.
didn't. I don't even think they got to casting stage at this point.
Right. Unlike the Wonder Woman
Right.
pilot that I've not gone to the dark webs and looked for, but I've seen scenes
Yeah.
of.
It's out there. I think it's on
This.
YouTube, believe it or not. So you can probably check it. You can
Oh,
probably check
okay.
it out there. It's the one by David E. Kelly that you're talking about. And
Right.
obviously
Yes.
that went away, mercifully so, in my opinion, having watched it. And that, but here, yeah, this never reached the casting stage. And then in April 2017, we got hope again because they announced that, hey, the series is being redeveloped for DC's new, still untitled digital service. And this is where we are now. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's kind of where we are. Um, so this pilot that we know of is going to be written by executive producers Akiva Goldsman, Jeff Johns, and Greg Berlanti. So Berlanti has a hand in this. Although I
And
don't think it's connected at all to his Berlanti verse on CW, thankfully.
no,
Which
which
is why the costumes are better so far.
yeah, I, I have no problem with the Berlanti universe. I like it more than you
Well,
do.
I like it
Um,
just fine, but
yeah.
it could be better. And so from at least from the costumes that we've seen of Robin, Hawk, and Dove so far, I'm
hmm
encouraged.
Well, and I'm a big fan of Jeff Johns. The Smallville episodes he did. I think the Legion episode he did is one of the best, kind of superhero episodes in a
Right?
while. So, I'm excited about this kind of how they're planning to do
Yeah, I am
this.
too.
Yeah.
And this is the pilot's also going to be directed by Brad Anderson, who directed a movie, The Machinist, with Christian Bale. That's the one where he gets really uncomfortably skinny in. If you've seen
Okay.
pictures of him online, he's also directed a lot of episodes of Fringe, which that gives me hope as well because I loved Fringe, and he also directed
Yeah.
the pilot to the TV show Frequency based on the movie.
Okay. And I was a big fan of that TV series, and kind of sad that they didn't get to continue telling that story. I thought
Did you
they did a
Now,
nice
did you like the
job.
pilot episode?
I did. Yeah. Didn't he? Isn't there a Springsteen reference
I
in
don't know.
there?
I've never watched the Frequency pilot, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So there you
Yeah.
go. You automatically like it because it had the Springsteen reference. All right, but what
Absolutely.
did you think? But what did
Come
you think of
on.
Anderson as a director?
I liked it.
Do you think he
There.
brought something to the table?
I tend to want um, I want my directors to be. I hate to say plain vanilla, but I want good blocking and tackling as I mix my metaphors
Yes.
when I'm doing a directing. In other words, I don't want cuteness for the sake of cuteness. And so I felt I was be I want directing to kind of go, oh, that was good, and without a okay, I have a lot of lens flare or a lot of strangeness or things that stand out. I like directing that is just, pacing is done well, where it is unseen. It doesn't,
So you
yeah,
just to kind of like, I guess you prefer substance over style.
yes, absolutely.
And I'm kind of more the opposite. I like a little more visual style. Just
Yeah,
as long as it's effective and does effective storytelling. Flash
right.
just to be Flash doesn't quite work
Yeah.
for me. But if there's great storytelling and visual flair, like on the TV show Legion, I'm all for that.
Yeah, and I don't know, I always want to give that a little more credit to kind of writing, and I know it's a yin and yang philosophy. Um, and I also think if it serves your purpose, like um, Legend is going for that kind of mind effing, keeping you off kilter, off balance
You mean
storytelling.
Legion?
Yeah,
Okay,
Legion. Yeah,
okay,
thanks. Yeah. So I speak with an
that's
accent.
all right.
That that
You're
that
Texan. You're
serves this.
Texan. We'll allow
Yeah,
that.
that that serves the story well. And I don't know. You know, I guess let's ask about what are you wanting for in this Titan series?
What I'm wanting for, I'd like uh, at least a reasonably faithful adaptation of the source material. Um, at least more faithful than a lot of the Berlantiverse shows. Um, I don't think it needs to be beholden straight adaptation, because then it would be far too predictable because we know what's going to happen. But I would like the spirit to be there. I want to see the Titans being a family. And I think that's one of the key components to the Titans, why they've been so successful in various comic versions, is that they're a family first. And there just happen to be like a family of from diverse backgrounds that have come together, become a family of sorts, and then you know fight the good fight. And I want to see that. I want to see heroes.
Yeah. I want that too, similar to kind of Team Flash, if we're talking about, other DC
Right.
properties. Even Legends of the Universe, Legends of Tomorrow, you have a family
Right.
feeling. So I think that's important. Similar to if we go out of superheroes in Fringe. Fringe, they built a nice family team dynamic. I do not want it silly like Gotham.
Right. Campy in the sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
campy or anything. And
I totally agree with that.
I would, yeah, and I, I, I would like a little more of a, and I'll go back to Fringe. I think Fringe did a great job of serving an overall story arc, yet giving us entertaining individual episodes. I think they did a really good job of blending those two storytelling styles. Um, I think sometimes um, you can go the other way, where it's pure, standalone stories. There's a villain, we fight it, and we win, and let's go back to the Titan Tower, for cookies and milk. Versus, I want an overarching story.
Yeah. That
How
that
about you?
that I agree. And with this first season reportedly being 13 episodes, I think this is a good, um, as we know from watching, like, say, modern Doctor Who, this is a good way to have that season arc, but kind of weed out a lot of the filler episodes that kind of. And I hate to be criticizing the Berlantiverse shows because I do enjoy them, but being with the Berlantiverse shows on the CW being 22, 23 episodes, um, that per season, there's some filler in there, understandably.
Yeah, it is one of the things that British television and cable television do a better job than traditional network is we set the number of episodes needed for the story, not let's make the story work for the number of episodes we have
Right.
done. It's a subtle difference, but it's a major difference.
Yeah, you bring up
Um,
a good point. I think a lot of the with the British shows doing this, and then kind of HBO shows, Showtime shows, that I think a lot of network is finally starting to get the hint, which is kind of why you're seeing a lot more shows with shorter seasons, and that way we would get more shows perhaps in a season because the individual shows have shorter seasons, so you can fit more in the year and then kind of experiment and kind of keep things fresh.
yeah, one of my favorite I guess it's a little genre, but not really, is The Good Place, with my favorite Veronica
Right,
Mars, Kristen
right,
Bell. And, her, the first season was only 10 or 13 episodes, and the show creator said that's really all we didn't want to try to stretch it to more. Now the second
right.
season is going to be, and so they have a specific story to tell, and they're in these smaller episodes. Length number of episodes helps them tell that story that is keeps the pacing moving around or on. If you have to fill 22 or 25 episodes, you've got to stretch that storyline, and you can't be, you have to tend to, as you talk about it,
Right.
filler.
Now, some of the shows that are like 22 episodes, like
Hmm.
Gotham and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., are doing something. They're breaking up their seasons into arcs, which I think
Yes,
does help because you do, say, half the season for one arc, and then you can of 11 episodes, and then you could kind of do a second one of 11 episodes to fill out that 22 episode season.
absolutely. Now, Charles, and at this point we're just speculating. Do you think we're going to get origins, or do you think they're going to catch us in the middle of just, hey, they're already Titans, they're already together, they're already a team? What do you think?
I think that some of them are already going to be heroes. I'd like to think that Dick Grayson, Robin, is obviously, he's been a hero with Batman. So I'm curious about how much Batman's going to be a factor in this, how much he's going to be allowed to be a factor. Um, but I have to think that, yeah, Robin's going to have some experience. Maybe the older heroes like Hawk and Dove are going to have some experience because they're kind of working together independently, and then they come across the Titans, I think. So, but in the case of someone like a character like Starfire, I kind of want to see her first coming to Earth, like she did in the New Teen Titans Volume One, Number One,
Right.
where I want to see the Gordanians. I want to see that that's what brought because Starfire was kind of like the catalyst for, along with Raven, bringing the group together, and
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see
And
that part at least represented, and I think it's a good way to kind of bring the characters together here on the TV show.
absolutely. So, once again, speculation. Do you feel the reason why we don't have a Speedy, aka Arsenal, or a Kid Flash because of the other DC properties on CW?
Some of that I think is true, because Kid Flash is obviously on the Berlantiverse Flash show, but we are going to see reportedly it's rumored that we're going to see Speedy, and we'll get into some rumors here in a minute or later on,
Okay.
but Speedy's one of those characters that's going to be rumored, and Wonder Girl is supposed to be one of those characters that's going to be rumored. So maybe they want to start off with their regular team and they kind of incorporate other characters to bring them in later. See how get people to know the core characters first, and then kind of expand the world a little bit. Kind of like other superhero shows do. They get you to know a certain base character level, and then they kind of build upon that.
Charles, do you like the mix? And we're going to talk about the cast in a minute, but right now we have Dick
Right.
Grayson, I assume, is going to be, obviously he's the lead. Nightwing, Raven, Corey. We're going to have um, Dove, Hawk, and Beast Boy.
Right.
Is that a good mix for you?
I think so. I think right now the main cast is really Robin, who we've seen. I'm not sure we're going to see him as Nightwing, at least not yet, because there
Okay.
is going to be a Nightwing movie coming out. So I think it's possible the way they may work around this is to leave him as Robin, which,
Okay.
if you're a new Teen Titans fan from the Marv Wolfman George Perez era, you're okay with that, I would think, because he was Robin for a good while before he became Nightwing in that group. Uh, so
Absolutely.
I'm kind of okay with that. And then we're gonna, like Robin, we have Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy. That's essentially, like, as far as we know, the main regular four so far. Now, Hawk and Dove are essentially recurring cast members.
Okay.
So I'm not sure they're going to be joining the official group, but they will be interacting with them, as
All
far as
right.
I know, unless, like, they're recurring at first and then become full-fledged members later, I guess.
Okay.
Probably depending on
Now,
the reception to the characters and whatnot. But
now with Raven, we do have the possibility of her getting them together.
yes,
We certainly have precedent of
right,
that,
right, we
right?
do. And that's kind
Yeah.
of like what I'm thinking is going to be. I think they're going to be kind of building to the big bad, is with Trigon being the first big bad, or at least
Yeah.
setting that up, because you have Raven, who is the daughter of Trigon, this other dimensional demon, and in the new Teen Titans, she was the one responsible for bringing the Titans together to, because she had gone to the Justice League. The Justice League said, "That's nice. We're not interested in this," or, "We don't believe you." And so she comes up with this alternate plan to kind of bring the various sidekicks of the DC universe together, the Teen Titans, bring them back together, and together they're the ones that go after, or, face the threat of Trigon and defeat it. So I
All
think
right.
that's kind of where our first season is at least going to build to. I don't know if we're going to get Trigon this season, but I think we're going to start building toward that.
All right. So let's go through what we know for
Yeah, let's
casting.
do.
All right. So Dick Grayson
Yes,
is cast as, and I'm gonna need your help in the
that's right.
last name. It's Brenton Thwaites.
Probably Thwaites.
Thwaites.
Like Thwip.
Okay.
Like that Spider-Man
Okay.
does, Thwip. So it's probably.
Okay.
I'm
All
guessing it's
right.
probably Thwaites.
Okay. Um, I um gave up on Pirates of the Caribbean, so I did not see him in
Right.
that. But I
Yeah, because
did.
he was
Um,
Henry Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man Tell No Tales, the fifth
yes.
movie in the series. I haven't seen that movie either. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for it hits cable for that.
I did see The Giver
Okay,
though,
yeah,
and
yeah. He's also in the movies Gods of Egypt, Maleficent, and
mhm.
Oculus. If you're interested.
and I
So what did you think of him in The
went
Giver?
in. I went into The Giver being very, very unhappy because I had read that book and really liked it, and I was worried they were going to change the story, but they didn't. As much as I was worried they was, I liked him in that. I thought he, came across with the right amount of um, angst and concern, of finding out about the truth about this world. So I think he's got some chops, and so I think he could be a good Dick Grayson.
Okay, you think he's got a good enough actor to pull that off? All
Yes, I
right,
do.
good. So,
Now, any
what?
thoughts? How
Well,
about you? Anything you've
well,
seen?
we know from it that, interestingly, Brenton's 28. So
Yeah.
a little old for the short pants if you're an old Robin fan,
Yes.
but thankfully he's not going to be in short pants. Um,
Right.
and he's Australian, interestingly enough. Uh,
Well, but aren't isn't almost every actor that's on American
just about.
TV from Australia?
Yeah, so we
Yes.
know, yeah, like
Yeah.
Thor is the Chris Hemsworth, he's Australian. So,
Yeah.
but so yeah, we have to get used to that these days. Um, so what we know of Robin is that he's going to be a police officer, and so I think they're going to be,
Which
which I
I
like because I
like.
think they're going to be borrowing from the Nightwing era, where Dick Grayson becomes a police officer, and gets partnered with Amy Rohrbach, who we'll talk about here in a minute. But his official description is a former circus performer who, after his parents' death, was raised by Batman to fight crime, and later becomes the leader of the Titans in his quest to step out from Batman's shadow. So, um, so I think obviously Batman's in play here, at least as far as being able, hopefully, to talk about him, which is nice. But and then so we'll have maybe like maybe this will develop to the point where again Dick Grayson decides, well, I'm going to stop being Robin and become Nightwing. Hopefully, it would be nice if we
Yes, I think that would be a very dramatic
well,
scene for the series. A nice turn, a nice storyline. So yes, I'm okay
right
with that.
now we have seen Brenton in costume as Robin as based off of our artwork for the show. So what do
Yes.
you think based on that pick? Are you what did you think of that depiction of him so far? This early advance look at the character.
Um, I agree with you. I think it's a good looking costume. Stealing a little bit from Tim Drake with the
Staff, yeah,
yeah, the staff, which I looks good. I think it works well, on the
right.
cinema. So yeah, I
He
think
certainly looks the
um,
part in that photo.
yes, with the domino
The
mask and
dark
the
hair, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, he looked like, oh yeah, that's even without the little R on the chest, I would have gone, oh, that looks like
yep.
Robin.
He's
So
very
yeah,
recognizable, thankfully. So yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was a great pick as well. I think, obviously it's just one picture, but
Right.
it was very promising. All right, so
Absolutely.
let's move on.
Yeah, so Tegan
Right?
Croft is playing Raven. Now, you and I may have to do for
Yes.
homework. We may have to go watch Home and Away. I will admit I've not
Right.
watched the Australian show,
It's a
but
soap opera for those who don't.
yeah, and at least I think Brenton was in that for a little bit, and Tegan is. I know nothing
Oh, I
about
didn't know that Brenton
her.
was in it.
I believe he
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I know nothing about her. Her photo looks
Yeah.
nice, on her IMDb
Yeah.
page.
So what we know about her is she's 14. So we have a very young Raven.
Okay.
Kind of like what's being depicted in the modern Teen Titans comics.
Hmm.
Um, and she's also, like you said, Australian. So yeah, we have another Aussie here. And she also appeared in the Australian film The Osiris Child, which has the subtitle Science Fiction Volume 1, which is a really weird subtitle. So just go look for The Osiris Child. You'll probably find it a lot easier. And so we at least, we have another way to kind of, if you're curious about this actress, if you're a big Raven fan, like I know my brother-in-law John is, so
Hmm.
shout out to John if you're listening, that um, this would be a good way to kind of get a good idea of the actress playing her.
Do do we have
We
any
have a description. All right, so
okay,
so the character
please.
description for her is Raven is an empath who is the daughter of a demon. So apparently the Trigon element is obviously in play, and whose powers are driven by her emotions. So there
Okay.
may be a little twist on how her powers are depicted here. Um, because and obviously we'll see how it plays out. But the fact that like maybe her powers are just how she reacts to, like if maybe like if she's frightened, then she will just she'll lash out, or will they be fear based? We don't know. So
All
I guess
right.
we'll see. But
All right.
uh,
So
that's
the next
no.
actress,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
You're driving.
Okay, Anna Diop.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Diop or
Uh,
Diop.
yeah, I'm not sure either.
I'm thinking Diop because it sounds more like it would flow better, but I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, she's playing Starfire, aka Princess Coriander of Tamaran.
Yes. Um, I knew her. I watched the 24
Okay.
Legacy, the kind of miniature reboot of the
Yeah,
24.
she played
She,
Nicole Carter. Yeah.
yes.
What did you think of her there?
Played the Yeah, she played the lead's wife. I thought she was pretty
Yeah.
good. Um, not a lot of stretch in there to do. I watched Quantico for a little bit, but she doesn't stand out from that. It appears um, she was early in a Everybody Hates Chris. I saw that
Okay.
and then I did not watch Greenleaf, which was a kind of soap opera that was on OWN, Oprah's
Okay.
channel. But she had a part in that. So she's actually been in several things. She was born in 88, so she's about 28,
28.
29.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And go ahead.
with her and Dick Grayson both being that age, we may be looking at a more older Titans team, which is why we're not saying teen,
Right.
correct?
Right. I mean, these are the
Yeah.
Titans after all. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have Raven being young and could be considered a
Yes.
teen Titan, um,
Yes.
but yeah, I think the majority of the actors are adults. So which is why we're
Yeah.
getting the Titans group. Um,
Yeah.
she was also, I guess, Anna was also in episodes of Quantico and Southland. I don't know if you watched either of those shows.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of Quantico. She didn't stand out, and she didn't have a big part in Southland. I think she just was a guest
Right.
star.
Right.
So, yeah.
And she was born in the West African country of Senegal, but apparently
Okay.
moved to the U.S. at 6. So she is an American,
Okay.
but she obviously does have West African roots. And
Okay. I think.
it's obviously it was kind of I would think a controversial choice a little bit for her as Coriander as Starfire, but we don't know if like there's going to be makeup involved or what have you. So we'll see. But if
Yeah.
not, it's okay. And
I. I.
we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes, and I'm sure it'll be
I,
fine. Uh,
yeah. I'm personally okay with Starfire not being orange
right?
skinned. Just for the cost and the makeup, expense, I'm okay with casting someone with this kind of African American, I guess actually
Yeah.
African background. That
Well,
I
she is.
think
Well,
that
she is
will work
American,
well.
so she is American citizen. So we
Right.
can call her African American.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that will work well if they decide not to. I mean, and then just maybe do um, some minor makeup. I don't need her to be
Yeah, maybe
orange.
they'll just give her
To
like the green contact lenses. Uh,
Yes, that would look
yes.
nice. I'm thinking.
So maybe
Hmm.
they'll do that.
Do we have a character blurb
Yeah, we
about
do.
her?
Starfire is described as an alien princess with the ability to shoot energy bolts and fly. So that's consistent. I'm glad that she's going to
Nice.
be flying. So that's even better. Who seeks
Yes.
asylum on Earth and comes into contact with the Titans.
Good.
So again, hopefully, fingers crossed for the Gordanians, and we'll get to
Yes.
see that part. That would be nice. Or at least maybe later on, maybe they'll flash back if we don't see it right away.
Right.
So hopefully.
Yeah. Next up is Lindsay Gort,
Yes.
playing Dick Grayson's partner, Amy Rorschach.
Rohrbach. Yeah. Yeah. Rohrbach.
Yeah. She was really good as Candy Morningstar in
Yes, she
Lucifer.
was.
Very captivating, very likable.
And she could sing, apparently.
Yes, I really liked her return episode. Just that was on this latest
Right,
episode.
of Lucifer, yes.
Yeah. Um, so I feel good, and I actually watched Impastor, and as Ashley, she was pretty
Right.
good. I there's one other person I'm more excited about, but she would be second place of my happiness of casting. That I'm like, okay, I think this could be really well. She could be really well done.
Yeah, she's Lindsay's 33 from Scottsdale, Arizona. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to be setting up a love triangle with obviously Robin, Starfire, and Amy Rohrbach. So we'll see, because
Yes,
maybe like because of Dick leading those dual lives,
right.
that it would probably be more inclined to have that. Or so we'll see. But yeah, Amy is a police detective who's the new partner of Dick Grayson. That's her description. Now, for those who aren't familiar with Amy, she first appeared in Nightwing Volume 2, number 48, by Chuck Dixon and Greg Land. And she's one of the few honest police officers in Bloodhaven, in the Bloodhaven Police Department. And she worked with, and on the force, she worked with then rookie Dick Grayson, and eventually discovered that he was the vigilante Nightwing. Grayson was forced to turn in his badge at one point, but she kept his secret. So I don't know
Good.
if that's going to be factored into the TV series, but I would say that if you're going to use Amy, that would probably be a good subplot at some point. And
Absolutely.
she was also, for those who don't, if you're looking for other places to kind of check her out, see what she's like, she was also Samantha Jones on the Carrie Diaries, which was the kind of like young Sex and the City series that was on not too long ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Next up is Mika Kelly from Friday Night Lights. She's going to play Dawn Granger.
Yes.
Dove. Sold. If you're on Friday Night Lights, sold. That's
Yeah,
just
she played Lila
uh,
Garrity on Friday Night Lights.
yes.
I know her
Um,
from playing Valerie Stahl on Almost Human, which was this Fox series that starred Carl Urban as the
right.
like, it was set in the future, where you had like a police officer at the time partnered with an android, and you know they basically they went out, fought crime, and various future detective shows, stories therein. But she was really good on that. I liked her on that. She's very charismatic. Um, she's 37, from Los Angeles, so I think she's like our oldest cast member.
Yes.
And she also appeared in the movies 500 Days of Summer and The Butler, which is a pretty diverse grouping. And she also played Eve French on the 2011 Charlie's Angels reboot, which lasted all of 8 episodes. So you can
Right.
know her from there too, if you're really a diehard
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels fan that actually remembered that reboot.
She was in Parenthood, which is the same creative team as Friday Night Lights. Similar creative teams. Played Gabby. Yeah, she's a. I think she's a really good actress. I agree with you. I thought she was very good at Almost Human. And so I also think she has the. I could see her playing the gentle, pacifist of Dawn,
Right?
of Dove, and so I think this is not only because I'm a huge Friday Night Lights fan. I just think this is good casting. I think she's going to look great.
Yeah. And well, and
Even though she's in blonde,
well,
she's known for her dark hair, but she's going to be blonde hair for
well, we
this.
know that she at least wears a wig as Dove. She has white hair that Dove
Yes.
has. Um,
Yeah.
but she looks great in the photo that we've seen of her as Dove. The costume
I agree.
again looks spot on, with a
Yes.
big, like big goggle style mask, and just it looks great. Color scheme's perfect. So,
Yeah.
so definitely looking forward to seeing her as Dove because Hawk and Dove I've really enjoyed when Dawn was created as the replacement for Don Hall, the deceased brother of Hank Hall, who plays Hawk, who is Hawk, I should say. And I really like that character as Dawn. I like the fact that making Hawk and Dove kind of like the chaos and the order balancing off each other and having that kind of romantic chemistry at times. I really thought that was a great idea. So I'm hoping that a lot of that, and that's a lot of that's to Barbara Kiesel's writing, who
Yeah.
wrote the original Hawk and Dove series, or at least the one that was in the 80s. And I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm hoping that gets incorporated into this show.
Absolutely.
Well, we do
Skipping.
have a quick description,
Okay, go it,
just
please.
very
Yes.
brief. Dove is described as a strategic, defensive, and lithe vigilante who fights crime with her partner and boyfriend Hawk. So I guess we will see some of that romantic involvement. So we'll see.
Nice.
All right, next.
Well, let's go to her boyfriend and partner, Alan
Yep,
Ritchson, who will play Hank Hall or
yep.
Hawk. He's got a little bit of superhero cred,
Yes, he
doesn't he?
does. Yes, he does. Now he's 33 from Grand Forks, North Dakota. So with Minka being from Los Angeles, we finally have some American actors here. Um,
Yes.
that so yeah, he appeared. He's probably best well known from playing Aquaman on the CW series Smallville, and he also reprised the character to voice the character in the animated TV movie Justice League: The New Frontier, based on the Darwin Cook miniseries. So yeah, he's obviously well known as Aquaman, but he also voiced Raphael in the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and in the sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which featured Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow, or Green Arrow and Arrow. But he also appeared as Gloss in the Hunger Games, Catching Fire. So you might know him from that, where he's just one of those kind of throwaway expendable characters. And he was recently in the Black Mirror episode Nosedive, if you're a Black Mirror fan.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, I don't think now from what I remember him from Smallville, he wasn't the best actor, but I don't think Hawk needs to be.
I,
He's a very
I,
simple character. He's just
yeah, I thought he was okay as Aquaman, but not,
great.
you're right. Yeah, not great. But I do think this will it it will serve his personality, at least what has appeared on
Right.
screen, will serve the character as Hank Hall
Yeah.
well. It is this will be in his
Yes.
range. So I think that's going to be really well done. So I'm glad for that. I think that'll be
Yeah.
nice.
And we saw his costume. Obviously, there was the pic from him with Dove, and Hawk also looks
Hmm.
great. I love
Yes,
the
it
fact that they
does.
did just like an off-white, but kind of kept it white with red.
Yeah,
I was a little concerned they were going to go black with red, but so thankfully they kind of kept it a more off-white,
yeah,
dirty white, if you will, and so it looks great to me as far as I could tell. Looks dead on. He looks great with Dove paired against. And his character
yeah,
description is an aggressive, offensive bruiser who fights crime with his partner and girlfriend Dove. So not a lot there. But again, it's Hawk. There's really not that much more than that. Apart
yeah.
from,
I
go
am.
ahead.
I will tell you, I'm a little worried. Hawk has never been one of my favorite characters. It's always been kind of a little too one
Right,
note. So my hope is that they give him a little more
right.
depth. I, you know, it it just seems one note characters are very boring to
Right.
watch. And
They
and
do have the
so
background. Because he is more of a blank slate here, they do have room to develop him.
yes, so I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, I am too. I get where you're coming
Yeah.
from. Hawk is mostly, his personality wise, he's mostly known as the conservative to that was offsetting against his brother Don Hall's pacifism, liberalism, because these
Right.
characters were created during the '60s, of course, where you had the big conservative versus liberal clash, um, Hawks versus Doves, kind of like a something that spun out of the Vietnam War era and
Yes.
in the hippie era. So so I don't know if any of that's going to get brought into the show or not, but um, he's probably going to be, at the very least, he's going to be portrayed as a hothead, and with Dove balancing off against him as the calm, rational peacemaker.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll hope for
Yeah,
the
well,
best. And rounding out our cast that we know so
yes,
well, what we know so
right,
far is a guy named Ryan
yep.
Potter who will play Beast Boy. And my notes are I got nothing.
Okay, well, I've got something. All right,
Okay.
so Ryan Potter as Garfield Gar Logan. He's 22 from Portland, Oregon, so he's older than Raven, which was a bit of a surprise. So he's not the youngest Titan here. Um, we don't know exactly what age his character is going to be, but Ryan's only 22. Um, he's mostly known for voicing Hiro Hamada from the movie Big Hero 6, which is the Disney Pixar movie, and
Yeah, I like
and
that
also the
movie.
spin-off TV series. He does the voice of Hiro there. And he starred as Mike Fukunaga on the Nickelodeon series Super Ninjas, if you're a Nickelodeon fan. And Ryan is described, or at least Gar Logan, Beast Boy, I should say, is described as a teen with shape-shifting powers, which are the side effects from a drug that cured him of the lethal disease Sakuchia. So that, at least, is faithful to the comic, because that was the disease that Gar Logan had when he was a boy. His parents kind of used this experimental treatment that cured him of his Sakuchia, which was, I guess, a terminal disease. But in the process, it turned him green and gave him the ability to shapeshift into animal forms.
Yeah, now um
So I don't know. We don't know if he's going to be green or not. We haven't seen a picture of him yet.
right.
From what I understand from, I think, Ryan Potter saying on Twitter, that yes, his character is going to be green. So fingers crossed for that, because I think that's kind of essential. You got to make Beast Boy green.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm a little once again Logan can be a little
Okay.
irritating as a character, a little too um lighthearted and full of
Yes.
quips. But I'm going to
Well,
trust
he's good as
the
they
story.
have to have some comic relief. So presumably he's
Absolutely.
going to be the comic relief character.
Yes.
I would be kind of disappointed if he's not the comic relief character. The
Uh,
question is, does that become grating after a while?
yes, and that's what I think is the. I also agree. Um, I agree that like on Hawk, you need that. Um, he's the hammer because every problem looks like a
Right.
nail. So I see how that could work. It's just it is when it works and there's good writing. This is a wonderful blend of different personalities and different, as you said, family members that kind of debate and work. If you don't go for the easy cliche or kind of easy jokes, I think this could do really
Yeah,
well.
and there's rumors that we may get to see at least Rita Farr, Elastigirl.
Oh,
Not Elastigirl
nice.
from The Incredibles, because Elastigirl from the Doom Patrol came first, okay? So
Right.
they kind of the Incredibles ripped off Elastigirl from the Doom Patrol, for those wondering. But I'm sure a lot of people, especially millennials, are going to think otherwise. So I don't know how much of the other members of the Doom Patrol we'll see. I think that would be great for season 2 if they kind of brought in the Doom Patrol.
Yes, I
I
agree.
think that would be great. So fingers crossed we get to
Yeah,
see that down the road. Obviously, I want to see Tara at some point. I think that would be big for Beast Boy's character.
absolutely.
Kind of a little disappointed it's not called Changeling, but Jeff Johns is really big on making Gar Logan Beast Boy again. That was one of his. He wrote a Beast Boy miniseries called Beast Boy, and it's kind of like one of his little pet. I don't want to say pet peeves, but one of his personal preferences.
Yeah, something he just
Yeah,
believes in,
exactly.
right?
He was
He's
probably
like,
never liked
okay,
the name Changeling. He should be called Beast Boy. So,
okay,
so I'm guessing that the
good.
decision was probably pure Jeff Johns. Um, Go ahead. And he's
Well,
also
I
Beast
just
Boy
was,
on the Teen Titans animated series. So
yeah. So I like the
yeah,
cast. I think it has a lot of potential. I, like you, agree that it's a good blend of um, characters with some different powers and different visuals. This should be good. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and I think we have the potential, kind of the foundation of doing pretty
yeah,
well.
I'd say so. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Um, but yeah, I'd obviously like to see more pictures.
Yes,
Hopefully we get some of
absolutely.
those between now and our next episode, whenever we do that.
Yeah, be great to start seeing some episode
Right.
titles to give us a few
Yeah.
hints,
Now we do have some other
some
we do have some
thoughts.
other cast members. But
Oh,
now do
please
we want to run
share.
those down now, or do we want to save those for our next episode?
Well,
Since
I
since we are starting to
say
run a little
we're
long
since
here, if you.
yeah, let's save it for next since I haven't heard about
Yep,
them. I just had gone by IMDb, so why don't you send me some data? We'll do some research and we'll schedule another
that sounds
episode.
great. So, but
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, obviously we still don't know when the show is going to be out, so we want to kind of have something to talk about between now and then. All right.
Absolutely. We are Charles gave me some homework, and so we will be talking about the latest series that's currently being published of the Titans. I have some hot Titan opinions about
Okay.
those. So we'll be talking about
Hopefully
that.
good hot Titan opinions. Uh oh.
Let's
Uh oh.
package.
I
Let's
said
package.
sense controversy already.
Yes, absolutely. Charles, if someone wants to reach the show to maybe give us suggestions on what we should talk about, how can they?
They can obviously reach the show at Titan Talkcast on the Twitter machine. So yeah, please check us out on our um, Twitter page at Titan Talkcast, and you can reach us on our Facebook page, Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, which I believe you can find at Titan Talkcast on Facebook. Um, and if you want to drop us a line, let us know your hopes and thoughts on the upcoming series. We'd love to hear from you. So tell it to Titan Talk at titantalkcast@gmail.com, where you can reach us there. We'd love to hear from you. So yeah, please like us and follow us on Facebook. We definitely appreciate that. And if you would, please rate us and subscribe to us on iTunes, because that helps people find our little show and helps to help us stand out a little bit more, because obviously we want to kind of stake our claim here as one of the preeminent Titans podcasts, because we know that you guys want something to listen to and look forward to as you get ready for the show to come out. So please do that. We definitely appreciate that. And Jesse, where can they reach you?
I can be found on Twitter at Jesse Jackson DFW. I am on Facebook, Jesse Jackson, Louisville, Texas. And you can hear me on a couple other podcasts. Charles and I go into the world of Doctor Who on a regular basis in Next Stop Everywhere, where if you like our banter, you should check us out there as we talk about our other passion, Doctor Who universe. I also have a music podcast called Set Lusting Bruce, the Bruce Springsteen podcast, where I talk to fans of musicians, mostly Bruce Springsteen, but others, and we kind of discuss the boss. We are in the series of I'm in the middle of a series of we are taking Bruce's albums and with another fan ranking the songs from worst to first. And we just finished Born in the USA, and that was a lot of fun. Charles, aren't you on a couple of podcasts?
Yeah, just one or two. My podcast library does seem to be growing these days. So I'm also on Phantom Zone podcast that I do with friend of the show, Karen Lindsay, where we talk about all comic book shows, including Titans probably when it comes out, but we'll save the good stuff for here. Not that there isn't going to be good stuff there, but we'll have more good stuff here. And my other podcast that I do with you, Jesse, Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast, where we discuss all things Doctor Who, Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures, you name it. And Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast that I do with Zan Sprouse, wife of comic book artist Chris Sprouse, where we talk about all things Twin Peaks. So please check those out on the Southgate Media Group. I would personally definitely appreciate it, and I'm sure Jesse would definitely appreciate you guys checking out Next Stop Everywhere.
Absolutely.
And I was just going to say my other contact information. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on the Twitter machine at Charles Skaggs or on Instagram at Charles Skaggs. And Facebook, of course, Charles Skaggs. Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus. Shout out to Karen. And my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn good coffee and hot. Where I talk about all the comic book shows. Well, not really. Yeah, all the comic book shows that we cover on the Phantom Zone podcast and Titan Talk. And also kinds of sci-fi, TV news, movie news, you name it. I talk about it there. What about all the stuff that I'm interested in, which is a lot. So please check out my blog, Geeky Things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot. I would definitely appreciate that as well.
Good.
All right.
Well, hey, second episode in the book.
Yep, and we're still waiting for our first episode to get posted, but fingers crossed.
Yes.
It hasn't quite posted yet. But so hopefully you guys will be able to listen to episode 1 soon. And
they will. Well, by the time they hear that, they will have heard
yes. That's what I would hope so. Anyway, yes. Yeah.
No,
hopefully you didn't jump just right to episode 2, but if you did, check out episode 1. So.
Yes, it kind of tells us who we are. So yes. So whoa, what is my?
Somebody's got some pop-ups.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So.
All right. So, Charles, thank you for another great discussion. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Any final words,
I would just
Charles?
say, yeah, next time in Titan Talk, I guess we'll talk about these other cast members that, like special guest stars and whatnot that we'll talk about, and also some speculated cast members based off of some very interesting casting call-outs that were done by the casting agencies that are kind of hinting at what we might get in the episodes ahead down the road.
Ooh, looking forward to
that. So, we'll talk about that as well. So, probably also, we'll talk about, I guess, since you kind of teased it, why don't we go ahead and kind of talk about, like what your thoughts are in the current Titan series.
All right, that sounds
good. All right,
good.
so we'll do that. We'll probably do that, in a month?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll come back next month. I know it's going to be a while, but we do have a bit of a wait until the show airs. And obviously we want to gather up some more information, so hopefully we'll get some more details in the meantime. So, all right.
Absolutely. So for now, take care. You may pull out some of your favorite old Titan comics and go back to that great Nick Cardy art. And George Perez art and Marv Wolfman writing, and we'll be here next month. And for now, Titans together.
Titans together.
And Titans forever. Thanks,
Take
guys.
care. Bye, everybody.